This is Vicky, also known as DragonflySoars.
And this is Tiffany, also known as mojaveknitter.
And it is about, I don't know, sometime before 8 o'clock on Monday, December 23rd. And forgive us if the lighting is weird or anything.
Or if you hear a dog bark because I accidentally put my foot too close to him.
Yeah, try not to do that. Because they're really hard to chop out.
Well, I'm just saying.
The dog doesn't like anybody even being slightly near him, and he barks even though you didn't even touch him.
He needs to have a space bubble around him.
So this is DragonflySoars, and if we have weird lighting, we're kind of in a strange spot, and we're using what we have. And my son's helped, and his girlfriend helped set up the iPad, so we're trusting them when they said that we're in the picture.
Yes.
But, this is so not my normal time or anything. I have finished objects. You have finished objects, or do you just have works in progress?
I mostly have works in progress.
Well,
my finished projects are Christmas, they're presents, so they can't be seen yet.
yeah, and we don't know yet if we'll be able to record an after Christmas episode because it totally depends on timing next Sunday. And we have no idea. But I showed you last time that I was working on my Queen Elizabeth socks that are turquoise for December's birthstone along. And I'm wearing them.
There we go.
So
we'll have a bunch of pictures at the end because the iPad's too far away so she can't do her normal pause. Insert picture here. So there'll be pictures at the end and you have a good picture of your socks.
Yeah,
so.
I've got pictures of this. So it's just right now the way the iPad needs to be back farther in order to get both of us in the screen. And it's also kind of wobbly right now when we were told not to touch it. So
we're not going to.
So, anyway, so I did finish my socks, and that was the Queen Elizabeth. The designer on Ravelry is Kiener, Qianer, but it's Jenna, who I met in China. And because I finished them by the deadline of December 24th, I do not have to pay for the pattern. So, I couldn't remember if it was, like, in my head I was thinking that they were due by Christmas, and then I thought, well, no, that would be crazy. It must be I must be remembering wrong. It must be December 31st, and then I looked and went, nope.
It's Christmas.
It was not only Christmas, but Christmas Eve.
Well,
so
they're done, so
yeah.
You're good.
So luckily I realized and spent one day going through 3 full cable patterns, and the next day I did my half a cable pattern in the toe. And the toe took longer than anything because I didn't want to work on it anymore.
Because she was busy putzing with her phone instead.
I do, like, knit 1 DPN and spend 5 minutes on my phone, and knit 1 DPN and spend 5 minutes on my phone.
Yeah.
So, but those are finished.
The only finished item I have is a preemie hat. I have another preemie hat that I finished before I came here. So.
But it's a turquoise preemie hat.
Yes. I haven't taken a photo of this yet, so it hasn't been entered into the birthstone along yet. But I actually finished it, I think, yesterday or the day before, but I just needed to sew the little doohickey, and I finally did that today. Because it has a little I-cord top. So, that's it. That's all I got finished.
If she takes a picture, I'll post it at the end.
Yeah.
If you take one by Mom sewing it, the lighting's usually really good.
But yeah, so that's it for finished.
So, in progress, I have socks that I don't know where they went.
Oh. Oh, your twitchy socks.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just had them.
I know. Well, I have a new set of twitchy socks. Well, I have worked on this. This is a modified Socks on the Plane. Socks on the Plane is by Laura Linneman, which has the cable going up the side, and the other sock will have the cable going up the other side. Her pattern actually has a gusset, but because I'm lining up my cables with the stripes, I'm just doing a tube sock, and I'll do an afterthought heel later. And the yarn is Knitter's Nightmare. Now, this yarn was, I don't remember what she calls her oops, but, you know, it's not the perfect bin. So there are discolorations, but I knew that when I bought it, so I don't want anybody looking at it thinking, oh, well, I don't know about that, because that was a known thing for this skein. I can't think what she calls her. I don't know. But a lot of dyers have something. A lot of dyers have something that's
didn't quite work the way they expected it to.
Yeah. So. And because I did finish my turquoise socks, I started a Starving Artist hat. Mostly because best friend and my son are both giving me a hard time that I don't own a hat. The couple hats I've made, I did test knitting for Susan Pandorf a while back and made a tam that has ferrule on the edge and then it's cabled on the top, and it came out really pretty, but it's too small. And I made the butterfly beanie a while back that you guys saw, but I think I even said on the podcast that I did. It fits the way it's supposed to as a beanie, where it like skims your ears, but that's not what I like for a hat, so I...
Especially when you live somewhere where it's like 4 degrees out right now.
Yeah, it's for... The kids and I went to see The Hobbit, and we came out and went, oh my god! And I looked at the bank sign, and it said 4. That's not wind chill, that's not nothing, that's 4. So, I'm going to go see if I can find my other socks. You can talk about your sweater.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Well, I have socks too. They're Felici, called Minty. They're going to be actually like her socks. There's toe up with an afterthought keel. And I'm just doing a little slip stitch detail when the color stripe changes, just to add interest. And actually I noticed with this one, for whatever reason, I've never had issues with knit picks yarn, but whenever I knit with this dark blue, this gray, dark navy blue color, I'm getting blue dye on my fingers, which I know is common with certain blues and purples. So that'll be interesting to see when I wash them.
Yeah.
What happens, but I've never had it with the knit picks.
No, and this is my new Twitchy socks, which to anybody that's new, Twitchy socks are the socks I take to the movies with me so I'm not twitchy. Because that's what best friend says. Because I'm no good at sitting still. So, these are also Felici. The colorway is called Atmosphere. It actually has, like in this section, there's a bright blue and a dark blue. And there's a light blue and a periwinkle blue. It has a few different things in it. It also is full of blotches. And I noticed that in a couple of my other Felici ones recently. But anyway, they're just roundy. But this is 2 viewings of The Hobbit. One with best friend and one with the kids just before we started recording, frankly. So.
And we should mention both of those will fit in the color scheme for January, February.
Yes, that's true.
Inspirational long.
Yes, and at the end I will put the information for the inspiration along again, but I thought maybe we'd have some questions that there'd be some questions after last week about what to do for the inspiration along, and I didn't see any. I got a lot of good feedback, but if you aren't aware of it, go and check out the Ravelry thread for the 2014 inspiration along. For each 2-month period, so like January, February is a block of time, there are 2 photos you can use for inspiration. In January there is a winter scene, and then there is a Valentine's chocolate and roses picture. And so you can take your inspiration from the content of the picture, like you could say, I'm knitting this little Voodoo Love You doll. I can't remember what it was called.
Oh, Voodoo. Yeah, I know, yeah.
I'm knitting this for Valentine's Day for my niece, and that would be perfectly fine. Or you can say, I'm knitting these blue socks because the colors remind me of the winter picture. Either way, color or content inspiration. And for every 2 months, there's going to be a charity knit-along. Now, for January, February, it's going to be Snuggles to coincide with Yarnivore's, with the Yarnivore podcast. She always does Snuggles Drive. Last year, you could double dip. You can always double dip between a podcast and Sadie. You have to. So between Yarnivore and DragonflySoars, you can double dip. But last year I let you also double dip across and say, well, I claim this for On the Fly. I claim this for Knittables. We're not doing that this year. This year, I would like to actually try to do it for ourselves. So don't double dip. Don't plan on double dipping across podcasts. If you donate to us, you donate to us.
Yep.
So, and if it's not going to us, then it doesn't count. So, and that one we're not going to start. I believe the last I saw, Sadie had said she wasn't starting that until January 1st. So you can't start that ahead of time because it wouldn't be fair to other people competing. For the rest of the charities, I think as far as I can remember, all of them are pretty much ours. So you can build up. If you want to build up a bunch of mother bears and then post them when we get to that, that's perfectly fine. And even Katie's Click for Babies hats, she said she's going to start taking them year round. So if you want to, do a bunch of them and then post them when we get to September, October, that's great. Because, like that one, she has to have them by October 1st anyway. So all the rest of them, you can kind of save them up. If you really wanted, at K-Par 62 last year, ended up making over 100 snuggles total. If she wanted to this year be saving, well, not snuggles. Snuggles is not a very good example since I just said that it falls into the thing. But like, for other things, if you wanted to save up, that would be fine. And all the details are at the end and in the post. The only other one I wanted to mention is that December will kind of be a catch-up for charities. So if you didn't finish your snuggles or you didn't finish your mother bears or whatever, November, December is going to be donate a homemade item to the charity of your choice. And so you can catch it up and donate, catch up all those snuggles and donate them. Scarves, mittens, hats, toys, homemade soup that you take down to the local soup kitchen. Anything.
Anything homemade.
Anything homemade. And it can be gently used homemade. If you're donating old scarves and mittens to Goodwill, that's fine too, because my thought was that during that time period, people are also doing a lot of Christmas knitting. So I just want to say, give, donate.
Yeah. But don't stress yourself out.
Yeah, exactly. We all have enough to do during November, December without adding.
Yeah, I have an additional thing to do during this time here.
What do you have? Well, this year you do.
Yeah, this year.
She's moving.
Yes, she hasn't said it on the podcast, but I'm moving to Virginia. So, which actually I'm mostly packed up right now after I get back to Vegas, do my last minute packing and load things into a pod and a small trailer, and then I'm going to drive across the country with 3 cats.
I think she's crazy.
I think I'm crazy too.
I totally understand. There is no other way to move you and 3 cats across country that's feasible, and the car. There's no other way to do it. But the idea of driving all the way
36 hours of drive time.
Yeah, all the way across with 3 cats. It's like, wow.
I got sedatives for the cats.
I think she might need some for herself.
Probably, but then I won't be able to drive, so it won't get me anywhere.
You can use them all at the end.
Yeah, I'll probably need them at the end, except I'll have to make sure I'm ready to go to start my new job, so.
Yep.
But yeah.
So that's part of the reason we're not sure if we're going to be able to podcast again, because she's actually leaving sooner than she even had originally planned.
Yeah, I was going to stay longer because given recent events, my work schedule is kind of like more open, so, if I'm not working, I'm not working, and so might as well be here for the full extent of the holidays. But all of a sudden, hey, we need you in Virginia. Whoops, sorry, I swore.
We don't normally do the explicit thing.
I'm sorry. That happened with Knit 1 Heart 2 apparently, and she had to put up a clean version like after she put up.
I wondered what I didn't watch it yet. I didn't
watch it, but I saw the things about it because I guess Sheila had some bad words in the beginning that they didn't quite catch or something the first time around, and then she had to go back and bleep Sheila. Maybe I'll have to bleep me.
I'll have to figure out if I can bleep you. Anyway, hopefully I bleeped her. I still have one of the very first ones. I got somebody all pissed off because I didn't put explicit tag when I explained about your cats, which I'm not going to repeat now.
No.
But anyway, yes, she's
moving. Just, it's a good time to do it, during the holidays.
During the holidays, during the winter.
Yeah, it's perfect timing.
So, you have a sweater.
Yep, I'm knitting another sweater. I'm wearing one of my sweaters. I'm wearing the Delancey.
That's the one that we bought her the yarn for.
Yep, birthday yarn. This is, it's a sideways, you knit it sideways. And it's Noro that I got years ago.
It's this one, isn't it?
Yep, it's on the cover of that magazine. And it's actually, it's the Interweave Weekends. And it's actually called, I have the chart, The Spoked Cardigan by Carol Feller. And I'm using, this Noro actually is discontinued. It's a Kujaku, Kujaku.
Kujaku?
Yeah. It's a wool polyester blend.
But it's coming out really pretty, and it looks nice being with the sideways.
Yeah. And that's what they use. They didn't use this particular Noro, but they did use a Noro yarn, and so. But I'm over halfway done with the second sleeve.
Well, and you can see the spoke details.
Yep. That's the inside.
Here I can see it. I'm like,
yeah. No. Yeah.
Right through here you can see the spokes.
And that's just done by extending or not extending the garter portion of the top above the stockinette. That's all they do. So, yeah.
It's looking really cool. It's interesting with the Nora how you have these little pops where it's a little more.
I believe
silky?
That's the polyester stuff.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah, I think that's the polyester thread that I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's its own changing color thread that they wrap around, but occasionally you get a little blip where it's like really wrapped right next to each other. So.
Yeah, but it makes little pops of color around here. It's neat.
Yeah, so you got a couple different color transition-y things. Yeah, there's another little blip right there. But yep. And yes, Noro is not the softest, but I did wash, soak, and swat, and it did soften up again, and I think if you do conditioner, it'll actually be alright, but...
I've always heard that Noro will soften afterwards. I just don't like touching it enough to work with it, usually.
Yeah, well, I have a bunch of it, and,
it's pretty, and it works for that.
Yeah. And this is definitely a sweater that I probably will wear over long sleeves anyway.
Yeah.
So...
No, but I bet everything I've heard says that it softens up.
Yeah, and
after you wash it. So if your swatch did.
Yeah, my swatch is softer than this is right now.
I didn't talk about this yarn.
No.
This was the Starving Artist hat, which, like I said, I just started knitting because they were giving me a hard time about not having a hat. It actually goes this way. It keeps flipping inside out. But it's got color changing details. It actually is blue and green throughout, and then the third color changes. I don't know if you can see it better. But this is Taki Yarns Tango. I think I bought this, I don't know. I remember I bought this specifically for this hat, but I can't remember where I bought it. I wanted to say I bought it in Switzerland, but I don't think I did. I don't know. It's probably on my Ravelry page somewhere, or
not listed,
or it's not listed at all. And I go, I don't know. I do remember buying it for this hat because I thought it would be interesting. And
that's a good choice for this hat.
Yeah, But I like the way it's doing the rainbow effect. That way.
Yeah.
It really wants to flip this way. Doesn't matter how much I do it, but it's because of the way the increases are. So
yeah. Yep. I have other projects, but you know, it's Christmas knitting.
she also has like,
Oh, those are old.
but you have never showed them.
That's true. I knitted these a while ago. They're actually, I love knitting the monsters. Cat is losing her scarf ribbon. I have the Big Book of Knitted Monsters by Rebecca Danger, and I've kind of been trying to make sure I knit every single monster. Actually, I knitted one recently, Cecil the computer monster, and that was the white elephant for my knit group. He came with little mini skeins. And the one gal she ended up with it, she's like, he's going to work with me. But there's this one gal that actually mom befriended many years ago. She had a kid at a very young age. Mom took her under her wing, and we've known her for a long time, and subsequently she had 2 more kids, and I knitted this one actually for her most recent kid, but that was like over a year ago, so that's why he doesn't have safety eyes, he has embroidered eyes, and this is Tony the Toy Box Monster. I just used random scraps of worsted or whatever I have. I mean, I think this might be actually, it might be Knit Picks, the green, I don't remember. Because he was the baby when I first knitted it, although now he's a toddler, but it's still probably safer for a toddler to have.
Yeah, they still eat stuff.
Yeah. And then her middle kid, this was for the middle kid, this is Toothy Joe, the mailbox monster. So yeah, I think this is, like, I know this yellow yarn I inherited from our godmother. That was part of what I inherited from her. Some mystery wool. And I think this is like, you know, like acrylic wool blend that you get at Joann's or Michael's.
Could be.
That's what I'm pretty sure.
It's pretty. It's got some color variation.
Yeah, it is. It is a pretty color. That's why I'm pretty sure I got it. But and then this is Cat the Kitchen Monster again. The green was more from Mother Yarded, and this is, I know this is Knit Picks yarn.
Well, yeah, because you made your socks out of that, didn't you?
No, this is worsted version. it is the same color as my socks.
I was gonna say it looks like the one set of socks you made.
Nope, but this is actually this is Knit Picks. I actually bought it to make hats for friends that I had that are for Christmas presents. I made hats, and for the mom and the daughter, I did purple in this yarn, but they were alternating.
Okay, and then this was left over.
Yep. And I embroidered eyelashes on her eyes. Yep.
So they're very late Christmas presents, but Amber won't see it.
No. But yeah, so, and they've just been hanging out in front of my computer, but you know, when you start packing stuff, it's like, oh, maybe I should, like, make sure those go to where they're supposed to. So, yeah.
So,
but yeah.
Cute.
Yeah, but I needed these, it's been over a year since I've had them. But anyway, so now Mom will have to make sure they get to Amber.
So, I think that's everything. I have nothing else because we still are at that point where there's the 2 things I can't show, and you've got stuff you can't show, and
yep.
So, and then even if we don't record, I'll grab pictures from you and
yeah, it's
we
fine.
can show next week.
Yep.
So, I think that's everything.
Yep. And you can turn the computer off. We don't need them to turn it off.
Yeah. I know. Maybe we'll chop that part off. Wow.
It's fine.
You're supposed to give the cue, like, 3, 2, 1.
Not just press the button. Yeah.
Alright. This is Vicky.
I touched the dog.
Yeah, don't do that. Let's start over. We'll just chop the front half off.
It's fine.